Welcome back in my class of CIS2168 Data Driven Design. We are in week number 4, and in this week the topic of discussion is query analysis, and so far we completed part number 1 and part number 2, and this is part 3 of query analysis. In this part we are going to discuss 3 key topics. The first topic which we'll discuss is the steps for performing query analysis. So you will see the steps, and in order to explain the steps I have presented a block diagram in the next slide. The other topic which we will discuss in this session is specialization and generalization, and the last topic which we will discuss in this session is parallel move. We'll discuss few other topics also in this part, such as the features of query analysis and the characteristics and error corrections. So these 3 topics are also included in this session. So I will start this session by explaining the steps involved to perform query analysis, which is given in the next slide. So here you can see a block diagram is given to perform query analysis, and so far you know what is the meaning of processing the log. So you can use Python program with open and the log file, and then you can use the loop to process the log file, and in order to process the log file you need to parse the log data. Then the next step is you will identify the queries, and then you will split the queries in a specific format which is called as analysis. So 3 specific format we will use. One is we will see the query length, then we will see the query type, then we will see query class. And this whole process, if you are performing this whole process, it is referred as processing the query, and this is analysis of the query. So if you are combining these terms, analysis and processing, it is called as query analysis. In the next slide I have presented a Python code. So here you can see this is my variable, and it is a list variable. What this list variable will do, this list variable will store the queries. So this is your list. So this list will store queries, let's say 1, query 2, query 3, query 4, and all these query will be stored here using the append function, which is supported by Python program. So what we are going to do in this code, first of all we have created a list variable, then we would like to process this log file. So processing the log file means open the file, then we are reading the data given in this log file line by line, and then we are splitting the line in the form of fields. So a split function is used to split the line in fields, and then we are checking the query. So if /query, this will be the user's query, and then it is divided into fields. So start of the query and query, these 2 fields are used. This is field number 1 I can say, and this is field number 2, and then based on the query and start we are appending the query in this list. So this is what this code is doing. Next we'll see some characteristics of the queries. So here you can see this is the query. Q is my query which I want to search, and this Q will be given in search engine. So what this Q will store? This Q will store this information, and this whole is my query. Q is equal to this. So this is Q is equal to this. That is this. So what is the length? the whole query represents the query length, and this part represents query category and query type. So using this, which is whatever given in the right hand side, if you will calculate the total length, then you will get query length. If you will see the type of which type of this query is given, then you can get the information about the query type, and if you will analyze, you will get the category of the query. And I have explained these terms, that is query length, query type and query category, in the coming slides. So next slide is for the query type. If you remember, in part number 2, I explained 3 types of queries: informal queries, navigational query and transactional query. So informational query means if user is searching for large data or large website, then we call it informal query. So this is informal query. Whereas if user is searching about a particular website or web page, then we call it navigational query. So here user is searching about Monet, but in this example the query is a specific query, so user is intended to search about the tickets only. Whereas in case of transactional query, if user is interested in buying something, then it is called as it is called as transactional query, because here user is going to perform certain actions. So buy a gift. So this is transactional query. So this is how you will figure out the type of the query. Next, I have given categories for the query. So here, if the query is Monet, it means that category is person. If something related to time, then it is called as time based query. If you are searching about the location, then the category will be location based query. If you are searching about some event like Olympics, then it is event based query. If you are searching about the object Mona Lisa painting, Mona Lisa is a painting, so you are talking about object. So this is how you can figure out the category for a query. So far I have explained what is the type of query and how you will figure out the category. If something is related to location, then location based query. If anything is related to time, time based query. If anything related to item, then object based query. Event based query. Next you will see some other categories, like here it is mixed category, person and object. So person and object, so it is mixed category. So here location with person, so location or person, so it may be location or it may be person. Here it may be place, it may be object, or it may be person. So this is another category. Now next we will see how to reformulate the queries. So reformulation of the query is important for analyzing the query. So here you can see this is query number 1 and this is query number 2. What is happening here? Here you can see only Mona Lisa is given, whereas in the second query this is given, that is Mona Lisa is coming from query number 1, but with additive element. This is a new element. So what is happening? User adapt their query if they do not find what they are looking for. So what generally we do, if you are searching for any item, you are searching for an item and you are not getting this by doing several attempts, you are doing several attempts to search for the item, then what you can do, you can change your query by adding a new element in this item. You can say apple, or item, you want to search item with, let's say, orange or any other. So if you are adapting some queries based on your requirement, then we call it reformulation of the query, because what you are doing here, this is your original query, but you are unable to get the information for this query. So what you are doing, you are adapting some additional method to get the information related to your original query, and this type of process called as user adapted their queries if they are not getting what they want to search. So this is reformulation of the query. Next we will see error correction. So this is reformulation of the move. So here you can see Mona Lisa, and then here Lisa, E and A. So there is a change. So this is error correction. So you have corrected something which is given in query number 1 and query number 2. So if you are searching for this and you are not getting information because something is given wrongly, then what you are doing, you are correcting it for getting the information. So this process is called as error correction. Next we'll see the next reformulation, which is known as rephrasing. So you are searching for Mona Lisa and you have changed your query by using rephrase. So this is query number 1 and this is updated query number 2. So in query number 1, you as a user, you are trying to get information related to this, and then in the second thought you decided to search the information related to new phrase. So what you did, you have replaced this query with another phrase, and this process is referred as rephrasing. So where you are rephrasing your queries search element with the using another phrase. Next we'll discuss specialization. So specialization, what you can see here, this is query number 1 and this is query number 2, updated query. Query 2 is your updated query. So initially as a user you are searching for this item. You want to get information related to this, and what you did, you have added a new keyword with this. So this is the original keyword, and what you have added some keyword with your original search element. Then this process is referred as specialization, where you are adding new keywords or element. So specialization is where user adds further keywords for searching the data item or the item. So this is your original keyword and you have added this. So this process is referred as specialization. Next we will discuss generalization. So what will happen in case of generalization? Generalization is the reverse process of specialization. So if you are searching like this is your original query element, this is query number 1 and this one is query number 2. You are searching for this and you have removed this keyword, then and in the updated query you are searching for this, then this process is referred as generalization. So it is a reverse process of specialization. So generalization is when user remove keywords from their query. So this was your original query, and what you did, you have removed this part from your query, and then you are left with Mona Lisa in your updated query for searching. Next topic is parallel move. Parallel move is what is parallel move? Parallel move is a query pair. So you are searching for this and then you are searching for this whole in the updated query. This is query number 1, query 2 is your updated query. So what you are doing, you are searching for the pair. So this is element number 1, this is element number 2, and you are searching for the pair E1 and E2. So E1 is your first query item, E2 is your second query item, and you are searching for both the items together. So this is called as parallel moves, where query pairs, user search for the query pairs, user has replaced one or more keywords. So you are replacing this with this keyword and you are searching for your updated query. So what you are doing here, you are creating a query pair. So this is your query pair, and in order to get this query pair, what you did, you have removed this and so remove some keyword from first query by one or more keywords in the second query. So we have removed this from the first query and we have added something new in the